Hello everybody, I'm Angry Slover, welcome back to another video, welcome back to another tier list. Today we're doing something a tiny bit different. I wanted to rank every single fully evolved Pokemon from each region based on competitive viability. Now my last tier list, some people agreed on, some people didn't, but that's fine. However, this I feel like I can be a lot more accurate. Like I said again, as this is my tier list, this is considered fact. However, if you do disagree, feel free to comment and debate me. I will happily do so. As you can see, these are the tiers, very self-explanatory. It's based on singles, doubles viability in their primes across all generations. So for example, Kingler, who was shit in Fire Red Leaf Green, is not going to be in D tier because it's comparative to that of his entire existence. Venusaur A. Venusaur is actually a very good mon. I mean, comparative to that of the entire Gen 1 roster, it's the best grass type there is. But with the Mega, it has options to be offensive, support, it can be speedy in chlorophyll, it can be bulky with thick fat. All in all, I think most people could agree that Venusaur is a good mon. I would not put it in S because there definitely are better grass types that exist. But I think for most teams in Gen 1, I would say that Venusaur is almost in every team. And just to reiterate, this is only fully evolved mons. Now Charizard is also one that I think is up for debate. I think you could make an argument for it to be worse because Fire Flying isn't the best type. As discussed in my last video, if you wanted to see that, go check it out. I ranked every single type combination in the game. However, with Megas and its viability in doubles and singles with Mega Charizard Y and Mega Charizard X, it does have a lot of options. And I still think that, again, in comparative to Gen 1, there isn't many other fire types that I would say are better. Blastoise, I would actually put the higher end of A, because again, like both of these starters, they did very well for the first gen. Blastoise has multiple options. Fake out support with Helping Hand, offensive Shell Smash, it has decent coverage. It doesn't have the best ability, and its Mega is okay. I wouldn't say its Mega is incredible, but Mega Launcher is still pretty good with Blastoise. But all in all, I wouldn't put it higher. Beautifly now, to be completely honest, it might be a little bit of personal preference as well. Beautifly never has had any real reason to be picked. It's close to being in D. Beedrill is a weird one. So Prime Beedrill, we're talking Mega Beedrill, Fellstinger, has a lot of offensive output. Very frail, however it's very quick, good ability, bad typing. Based on pure offensive output, with its incredible attack and speed stats, could definitely make a case for A. And I've been convinced, because the next one's Pidgeot, who I would say is B. No Guard Mega Pidgeot is okay, but it's a bit more niche for you to even consider using it. I mean, there's definitely better options. Raticate, I think, again, is one of those Pokemon that you could make a case to be in either C or D. Has guts, but doesn't have the stats from like a speed and overall bulk point of view to actually take advantage of it. Pharaoh's the exact same, and he doesn't even have a good ability. Normal flying is at least an okay typing. And you know what? No, I'm disagreeing with myself a lot. But I would say Mega Pidgeot actually is pretty mid. I think in comparative to that of other flying types in Gen 1 and just in general, Pidgeot definitely isn't the best. Now Arbok is actually a pretty good mon in both doubles and singles. He can provide really good support with Glare plus Intimidate. And I think even if you compare it to like Nidoking and Nidoqueen, who are probably considered one of the better poison types in this gen, I would say that Arbok is on par with them from just a pure utility point of view. I'm actually going to put Pikachu in one of these because Pikachu is used a lot in a lot of different teams. Pikachu, I would actually say, is pretty annoying in singles. Again, has potentially, you know, really good support potential with Fake Out and stuff like that. Same goes by Raichu. I mean, Pikachu kind of relies on the Light Ball to do any damage, but he does have a place in some situations. Next, Sandslash is mid. It's a physical, bulky Pokemon, but there's plenty of those which exist. It has Stealth Rocks, and that's basically it. It doesn't have enough anything to really set up offensively, and he doesn't really offer much in doubles, so Nidoqueen, I'd actually put in A. I think the extra bulk that it has on Nidoking offers more from a support point of view, and a lot of moves that Nidoking has are special. And obviously, Nidoqueen does benefit a bit more from that. Abilities are obviously the same. I do think that you can use Nidoqueen in more ways than Nidoking. Nidoking is more built for like Choice Scarf, Sheer Force, and just going pure offense, or even go like Life Orb. But to me, I would actually say that Nidoqueen is a lot more useful. Clefairy is the first S tier. Anyone that uses Clefairy has two S tier abilities, Magic Bounce, Unaware. Magic Guard and Unaware. Incredible abilities, and in general, I would say that Clefairy is one of the best fairy types. Wigglytuff, honestly, it's not F because there are Pokemon worse, but there is literally no real reason for you to pick this. Ninetales, I would say, is B. I think as a Sunsetter, it does its job. There are better options, though. I would even say, because you've got Pokemon like Zard Y, obviously Pokemon like Groudon exist, and I would even say that potentially Torkoal is a little bit better than Ninetales. I think Vileplume is actually quite an underrated mon. I would put Vileplume in the same category, similar to that of like Arbok. It offers a bit more of a niche role with a bulky Leech Seed style mon, which can do good damage, and Harvest is a great ability, but there are mons better. Especially even in its role, there's definitely mons that are better. I'm going to put Parasect in C. Some people might disagree and put Parasect lower. I get it, he has an awful typing, however he does get access to Rage Powder. I do think that that's its only real reason to pick it, which gives it more of an edge over than Butterfree in my opinion. Venomoth is similar to me. It's one of those ones where it doesn't have great abilities. It does have options with like Quiver Dance and Sleep Powder like most bug types do, but that doesn't change the fact that it's still a Venomoth. Dugtrio is actually a pretty good mon. As frail as it is, Arena Trap's one of the best abilities in the game, has a very niche role of being incredible offensive pressure lead, trapping something in. You can set up Stealth Rocks, you can force one stay in, you can get out of there, you can do pretty good damage with Earthquake and Swords Dance, you get Sucker Punch if you're not quicker. He isn't as good in doubles, but in singles he's still great. I think Persian could be either C or B, but the support that it offers with Fake Out, normal typing is a relatively okay defensive typing, but it's a net type overall. I think you could make an argument for either or, but for now I'm going to put it in B. Golduck I'm going to put in C. It's very, very niche, but Cloud9 is a really, really good ability. Negates weather. Obviously there isn't any of those in this, however he is still pretty bad overall. The only redeeming thing is he has quick, he has Encore, he has decent coverage, but you're never optionally going to pick him over some of these mons. Weather control is good, but there's other ways to do it. Arcanine, next one, in my opinion, that's S. He's been one of the best Pokemon from Gen 1 for so long. Intimidate, offensive, E-Speed, Beat Up Justified, like he is, and even support options, right, with Snarl. He's incredible. And I think anyone that would argue against that, I think hasn't played long enough. Primeape, D tier, I don't need to go over that. Poliwrath, I think Poliwrath is one of those ones that has potential to be good. Water fighting with Swift Swim, Water Absorb, it's good. Then if I'd put it higher than that, Water fighting's also an okay typing. However, I don't think it's more powerful than these guys and better than these guys, so I can put it in A. Alakazam, I mean, comparative to that of the region, obviously Alakazam's incredible in Gen 1, but if we're going like of all time, I still think it deserves a spot in A because of how broken its Mega was. It got banned in OU incredibly quick. Especially, it's amazing. It's mainly based on the Mega. Machamp, I'll go with in B because No Guard is pretty good. Offensive, he's got options. Pure Fighting's not a bad type. You could maybe make an argument for C, but I like Machamp, so I think I'm going to keep him in B. I think Victory Bell should also get a spot in B then, because with the same logic of it has potential to be good, and if you use Victory Bell right, he actually can be quite fun with Power Whip, Sunny Day Chlorophyll. However, Venusaur exists, so therefore there's better options. Tentacruel, I would also say, is pretty good. He's nerfed by the fact he has a bad ability. Otherwise, he's especially bulky, which is great. He has Rapid Spin, he has Toxic Spikes. He also, if he had a better ability, he could make a debate for A tier. Golem is like one of those ones. He's mid, he's very niche, right? He is a self-destructing, stealth-rocking lead. Rapidash, in my opinion, is a bit mid. I like Rapidash. I think he's one of those ones that I wish had more potential. He's got okay speed, he's got okay attack, he's got okay moves. With other fire types existing that I'll get onto, like Ninetales is better, Charizard is better, Arcanine is better, so I would put it in C because you don't really have as much reason to pick this, but it's still not awful. Slowbro, this is a guaranteed, easily S tier mon, one of the best mons in Gen 1, incredibly bulky, and it's not just because my name is actually where I have a bias, he is impeccable. Physically bulky, pivoting, regenerator, slack off, scald, yawn, like I could go on, and with a Mega. Farfetch'd, there we go. Unfortunately, Farfetch is one of the worst. A fully evolved Mon with his base stats, no really good abilities, no real usage. I think that's safe to say. Dodrio is one of those ones that, again, you have no real reason to pick Dodrio over someone like Pidgeotto, because he's just better. Like, other than personal preference, Dugong he beat it easily. Dugong cooks in doubles. Encore, Icy Wind, decent abilities defensively. I love Dugong as a Pokemon. I wish he was slightly better. However, I would still say he's B. Muck is just kind of mid, to be honest. The fact that it's just a bulky poison type, I guess you have some use case, but other than that, there isn't really any. Cloyster is, I would say, at the higher end of B, maybe A, because you have hazard options and you've got the offensive Shell Smash, and it's still very powerful, and you do have 180 defense, which is very frail on the special side. Again, that's another one I think you could debate. I think if there was a B+, these two would be in that kind of tier. Gengar, Prime Gengar is S tier, right? Mega Gengar with Shadow Tag, offensively, it's amazing. I think people would probably agree that it also deserves that spot because of doubles, because of Perish Trap with Wolfie. I think that's valid. Now, I don't know where I want to put Hypno. He doesn't have the best abilities, and he offers an option for a slightly bulky Psychic type. Well, especially bulky Psychic type. And he has some good moves, and he can actually be offensive, but I can't say I've ever played a game where Hypno's actually done anything of significance. Oh, Kingler, I want to put him B so bad. I don't know if he is, though. Actually, to be fair, in terms of a physical water type, he's probably your best option. I think he's up there as well, close to that B+ range, because with his sheer force ability which he gets, Swords Dance, he's not the quickest, but offensively, from a physical point of view, he's one of the better options. He does a lot of damage. Executor, I'll give credit where it's due. It's a very fun one to use. With the options of Harvest and Chlorophyll, you can run a more stally set, but just as fun. Harvest is a very good ability. Or you can go the more offensive set with Chlorophyll. Gets good moves. And all in all, whilst Grass Psychic isn't the best typing, it does still feel good to use, especially in Gen 1. Okay, Marowak. Again, this is a shame. As much as I love Marowak and Cubone, you do have no real reason to pick this. Hitmonlee is a weird one. This actually might be a hot take. I'm actually going to go with Machamp in C tier, and I'm going to put Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee. Hitmonlee in B. I'm going to put Hitmonchan in C. Because Unburden's a very good ability. I've got more of a reason to pick this. Machamp and Hitmonlee are a bit more niche. If you compare them to Poliwrath and Hitmonlee, those two are both better. Lickitung, I don't really need to say much about that. Now, Weezing has a niche role with its newfound ability, or newer found ability, obviously didn't have it back then, Neutralizing Gas. It's a very situational ability in doubles to work with Pokemon like Slacking, Regigigas. It does okay in singles and can be an annoyance, but it's not like a necessary ability that I would say that you need to have. It's just one that can work very well. Rhydon is just basically the same as Golem. You can run a Violet on it, but there isn't really much reason to run Rhyhorn, in my opinion. Next up is Chansey. Now, we'll get onto Blissey, but Chansey is... I think it's got to be A tier. Violet Chansey is still just as good in a lot of people's eyes as Blissey. It's still the special wall that it has always been, and for that reason, I think it has to go in A. Kangaskhan, Prime Kangaskhan might be S, you know. I actually might say Prime Kangaskhan might be S. Bro was in, like, most of the professional teams back in, like, Auraz, when Auraz Worlds and the tournaments were popping off back then. Fake Out, Power Up Punch with Parental Bond, Pure Normal type being pretty good, Sucker Punch. I actually think that Kangaskhan does fit that S tier. I think it may be an A+, but regardless. Olean and Seeking are a bit weird as water types there. You don't really have any real reason to pick this other than the electric community, but Starmie, A tier. Starmie's a staple in a lot of teams nowadays for, like, not even just Gen 1 particularly, but like in Legends Z8 it's used a lot. Not even just for Mega Starmie. Good for utility, offense. You could make a statement again for it to be like A+, close to S, but Starmie's great. Next to Mr. Mime. Now this is again a slight hot take, right? But hear me out. Mr. Mime has a great type in his Psychic Fairy, great in support, Fake Out, Light Screen, it has offensive moves. I think it does deserve that C spot over any of those Pokemon in D. Has way more utility to it. I won't put it in B, obviously, but I do think it deserves that C spot. Scyther, in my opinion, is still C. I've never really ever come across a good Scyther. Elekid and Electa, Buzz, and the Magmortar middle stage. They do offer somewhat okay supporting roles. Like, I would probably optionally choose to use a support Electabuzz over all of these mons, but when it comes to like singles, their use case kind of goes. I guess if we can put Dugong in B for its utility in doubles, we can maybe make a statement for these to be in B for doubles, because they have a niche role, but they perform it well from a support follow me doubles mon. I think Pinsir, Mega Pinsir is one of those ones that is like one of those Pokemon you go against that's either really annoying to play against or just shit. Bug Flying's obviously an awful typing, but with Aerialite he can be quite scary. But I guess if we are talking like overall, I think it's still one of those things that goes down, because Nogard Mega Pidgeot is still scary. Always landing hurricanes and thunders and, you know, that things of that nature. So I think it's fine putting in C, but again, I would understand why someone would say B tier. Gyarados, S tier. Another one where it's just pretty obvious. I feel like Intimidator, Moxie, you've got options, support, utility. I'll be honest, Lapras is kind of mid, in my opinion. I mean, I feel like you compare it to that of its other water ice counterparts. Lapras doesn't have anything over those two. Support-wise, Dugong's way better. Cloyster, so it's Cloyster, and offensively, Cloyster's a lot better. Ditto's a decent one. He's niche, but he does work in singles a lot. I wouldn't say he's A tier. I think you could make a debate for Vaporeon B and B, but I'm putting in A because of how fucking good it is at Stall. Carmine, Wish, Protect, Scald, Toxic is a very annoying set. It's one of the better. Honestly, you could say it's probably the best Stallmon in this region. It's definitely up there. I know Clefairy and Slowbro exist, but they aren't always Stall. They are more, well, Slowbro and Tico is more pivot, but I think Vaporeon is definitely A tier. Jolteon's one of those ones that I think is B+, again, close to being A because of how quick it is, and yeah, I would say offensively it's better than Raichu. Abilities is fine, I guess, but I wouldn't say that it's better than Vaporeon. Flareon, I also think personally deserves a bit more respect. Guts, Flareon with Quick Attack, Trailblaze, Flare Blitz is a very, very offensive nuke that can do a lot of damage, dies very quickly. Regardless, I do like Flareon a lot. I'm going to put Porygon in D because there are Porygon sets that do exist with like a Violet and stuff, but there's literally no real reason for you to pick it. Yeah, there's no saving like you told me, unfortunately. Almastar's one of those ones that you could make a debate for being higher because Shell Smash in the rain with moves like Power Gem now is very offensive, but Almastar's still an Almastar. Water Rock's still not a good typing. He's still not the bulkiest thing in the world. I think you could make a debate for, honestly, Kabutops being in B as well, in C, but I think the reason why I would say he's better is because he's quicker. He has moves like Swords Dance, and you can use Swords Dance, not lower your defense, and you can double your speed in Swift Swim, and you can do a lot more offensively. He gets good coverage moves, so I would say that gives him the edge over Almastar, which I could say puts him in B tier for that reason. Aerodactyl is, I would also say, B tier. I think out of the flying types, it's one of the better ones in the game. Obviously, there's better ones that exist, Charizard, Gyarados, but you do have offensive output with Mega Aerodactyl being relatively good. Rock Flying is a decent typing, and you get access to like Stealth Rocks and stuff, so Snorlax, in my opinion, is A tier. I love using Snorlax. He is so bulky, I don't care if some people have him lower. I personally love Snorlax. Doubles, he can work. Singles, he works very well. He has good ability, big fat. Gluttony's even not an awful ability with Snorlax. He has very good recovery. And offensively, he can be quite good with Belly Drum, Curse. He has different options, so for that reason, I would definitely put Slowbro in A tier. Articuno, I almost did put lower. I'll be completely honest, because Ice Flying is one of the worst typings in the game. However, he does have more situations where he's useful. Doubles, particularly in a snow team with Snow Cloak and Bright Powder, Articuno is very good. Offensively, he can do a lot of damage. Blizzard, Freeze Dry, and the fact that he is a legendary, I think still puts him up here. I do think that you could probably say that he is kind of mid, and I would be completely like in agreement with you. I think that you could definitely make a case for him to be in between C and B. You know what? And for the whole fact that like he can't, it's not as if he can set the terrain himself. He does rely on a lot of things to work. So it is actually more niche. I'm gonna go with C. Zapdos is to be honest, actually, Zapdos is in A tier. He doesn't have a good ability. Well, he has an okay ability in static. But Zapdos has been used a lot more in teams recently. Now Torrential's obviously climbed back up the ladder, so he's not as good anymore. However, you compare it to every other electric type in there, the Zapdos definitely is a better one. He still has options to be offensive. Doubles, he's great. And he can be run physically bulky, with Roost, with Rocky Helmet, and he can become a nuisance. Now, Moltres is in a similar boat to Articuno in my opinion. However, he's used in a lot more teams nowadays because Flame Body is still like a relatively good type, and from a utility point of view, he's way better than Articuno. So despite having an awful typing still, he does offer more than Articuno does. If Articuno had better moves, or slightly better coverage, you could make an argument for him to definitely be in B. But I think because of how bad his typing is, he relies on a lot of things to work offensively, that even though he has pretty good defense and bulk, it doesn't help him that much. Dragonite, obviously S tier. I'm just also going to say that he is definitely one of the best ones. It's pretty obvious. Dragonite has been one of the in OU for so long. Offensively, he's incredible, especially with Mega Dragonite coming out now. Mewtwo as well, even though Mewtwo is not liked as much by some people, and some people do overrate him. Mega Mewtwo exists, and that is why he is in S tier. Mew is another one. I think I'm going to put him in A. I think the even distribution of his stats is good. Makes him a lot bulky naturally. You can't run him as offensive though, and a lot of Mew sets tend to be either bulk setup if they want to go offensive, but a lot of them are like utility, and because he learns every TM, it makes him incredible, unpredictable, which is why you could possibly make it a debate for him to go in S. And I've convinced myself, I think I probably would say he's S tier then. I think because of how unusual Mew is as a Pokemon like Arceus, right, who gets every TM, I think it makes him such a problem to go against because you never know what he's going to have. And that is it, I believe. So yeah, right, we'll get to the top 5 in a minute, but I think I'm pretty happy with this list. This F tier is pretty obvious. D tier, I think, is also relatively the same. You can make a debate for some of them to move up. C tier is a little bit difficult to rank. I think these two have potential to be higher up. The rest of them, I think, can stay in C tier. B tier, I think the reason why these are in B tier is because all of them have somewhat more niche, but very useful use cases. They are typically better. And I think I can confidently say that all of these mons are better than these mons in some capacity. So A tier, I think, is pretty solid, self-explanatory. I think you could debate for a couple of these to move up, or even some to move down, like Alakazam or Nidoqueen. And then S tier, I think, is solid. So, for the top 5, we'll go in order, 5 through to 1, and I'll explain the reasoning for each of these. Number 5, I'm going to give to Arcanine. I think Arcanine truly is a perfect Pokemon and one of the most well-rounded Pokemon in this list. Offensively, it's great. It has access to priority, has really good coverage, but it's what makes it shine from some of these other mons in this tier is that it is incredible in doubles as well. Snarl, beat up Justified. It has multiple ways of being played, and all of them are good. Pure Fire is also a relatively okay typing. It has good abilities, so I think for that reasoning, I think it deserves the 5th spot. 4th, I'm going to go Gengar. Now, there was a real debate here with 4th and who I would put in the Arcanine slot. I was debating putting Slowbro. I really wanted to put him in, but I think he just missed out. Mega Gengar with Shadow Tag was one of the most demonic and annoying things to play against. Shadow Tag's one of the best abilities in the game. If you get the lead right, or you make a prediction and you have a Pokemon in who can't really do anything to you, you can set up and win. You get access to moves like Trick when you're not in Mega Form, you get great stab, you get great coverage, and for that reason, for the pure offensive threat that it is, I think it goes in that slot. 3 is Clefairy. Clefairy is like Arcanine, but on steroids, in the sense that it is so good, both offensively and support-wise. Now, Clefairy is known for its support. Thunder Wave, Follow Me, Soft Boil, Life Dew, those kind of moves. However, Calm Mind, Moonblast, it has incredible coverage, and in Legends EA, Mega Clefairy is impeccable. For that reason, it gets Charge Beam, Serene Grace. I can't put Clefairy not in the top 5. Second and first were very difficult. They were between two Mons, and I felt as if the consistency of what one Mon was used was the reason that I put it in first. So with that being said, second I'm going to give to Mewtwo. Mega Mewtwo is so good. So good. And offensively, normal Mewtwo is still just as good. Doesn't have as much use case doubles as support Mon, but that's not Mewtwo's role. He's there for destruction, chaos, loads of damage, and that's what he does. I think you can make a debate for him to be a little bit lower, but because he is Mewtwo, it's kind of hard to put him anywhere other than this spot. And then finally, I'm going to go with Dragonite. One of the most consistently picked pseudo-legendaries, arguably the best pseudo-legendary of all time in terms of Pokemon competitive viability. He's not my favourite personally, but that still doesn't take away from the fact that he's so good. He's got the E-Speed like Arcanine, he's got good coverage, you can run him bulky, he has multi-scale, which is an incredible ability, gives you pretty much guaranteed setup, so for that reason, I'm putting it here, and that is my list. If you do disagree with any of these, please feel free to comment them down below. I would love to hear your opinions on where you would change some of these, and if you'd like to see some more tier list content, don't forget to subscribe, and follow my Instagram account, Angry Slowbro. You'll see plenty of tier lists over there. That being said, I've been your Angry Slowbro, and I'll see you in the next one.